Greetings everyone and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal 2 International, and we begin with our top stories. Biya has been declared winner of the October 12 presidential election in Cameroon, giving him another 7 years as to pilot the nation. The gap between him and the challenger Issa Truma Bakare is a difference of about 18% of the vote count as proclaimed this day by the Constitutional Council. And tension has gripped the Singa neighborhood in Yaoundé, just like in Douala this Monday following the proclamation of the presidential election results pronouncing Biya as the winner. Angry youths took to the streets to express their dissatisfaction, accusing authorities of manipulating the outcome of the vote. To tell you more in this edition of Newscast. Good evening once more. Welcome to the Primetime Newscast, the English language on Canal 2 International. Paul Biya has been declared as winner of the October 12 presidential election in Cameroon, giving him another 7 years as pilot of the country. He grabbed between and him and the challenger Issa Truma Bakare is a difference of about 18% of the vote. But before we come to this story, we get to the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where tension has gripped the Singa neighborhoods this Monday following the proclamation of the presidential election results pronouncing Biya the winner. Angry youths took to the streets to express their dissatisfaction, accusing authorities of manipulating the outcome of the vote. The spray of tear gas and itching water against stones and insults, this the order of the day in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. More in this story.
This Monday, October 27, was no ordinary start of the week in the capital city. Since the early hours of the day, uncertainty looms in the air. Yaoundé this morning, deserted streets, closed stores and shops, empty classrooms and closed schools, and only a few vehicles on the road. Circulation more than fluid. At taxi stops, notably around the central post office, the scarcity of the yellow cab made movement difficult. Many tried to find a spot, often amid jostling and impatience. A similar scene unfolded at the Lonkak roundabout. Residents described the day of a city running in slow motion. Yet not everyone experienced the same situation. At schools whose doors were open, the day ended much earlier than usual. By 1 p.m., pupils, students were already heading back home for fear of the unknown. Most markets were officially closed. Bayam Selam could be spotted with fresh foodstuff to sell, and few buyers profited from their sales. But the rain forced many to return or seek refuge at close-by buildings since they were in the open. A strange day, which many, in the name of peace, preferred to spend at their quiet corners at home. Yaoundé residents now hope for a swift return to normal in the coming days. A much-needed calm after a tense and eventful electoral process that has officially.
Meantime, tension continues to grip the Cameroon's economic hub, Douala, immediately after the official proclamation of the October 12 presidential election. Several neighborhoods, including New Bell, Kululun Village and Bonamusadi, were heavily militarized as clashes broke out between protesters and law enforcement officers. Gunshots echoed through parts of the city as the exchange escalated. The confrontation was marked by stone throwing from angry civilians, met with tear gas and forceful dispersal methods from security forces. Several commercial buildings were destroyed and at least 2 filling stations came under attack, adding to the panic and property damage. For now, the number of casualties remain unclear as reports are still coming in from different quarters of the city. However, eyewitnesses confirm scenes of chaos and fear in the streets, with some residents forced to take shelter indoors for hours. Businesses shut down early, streets emptied, and public transportation became very scarce. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement concerning the situation in Douala, as major neighborhoods remain paralyzed as we speak. And we take you to the west region of Cameroon, precisely in Banja, where in Onkam division, which equally erupted. The youth there equally there is tension that we as anger and rest just hours after the proclamation of Paul Biya as the winner of the October 12 presidential election. Protesters say the official results does not reflect the will of the people. Let's watch in this story. People are on the streets in Banja subdivision, Onkam, following the official proclamation by the Constitutional Council that declared Paul Biya the winner of the October 12 presidential election in Cameroon. Voters in Banja say the verdict from the ballot boxes was not respected, and their anger erupted visibly. Several roadblocks have been reported. The National Road number 5 is blocked. The Banja toll station has been destroyed and set ablaze, and the local Elekam office sacked and vandalized. Security forces from the Banja Brigade with limited personnel are on the ground trying to restore order. The divisional officer and brigade commander are personally deployed in the town amidst a total shutdown. The situation in Banja remains volatile, with the tense calm hanging over the town. As authorities work to de-escalate the unrest, the events reflect the deep frustration among parts of the population who feel unheard. And we take you to the north region of Cameroon. This Monday morning, scattered protests in Garoua led to several incidents across the city. The residence of Yerima Dewame of Pitwa was targeted by the fire, which was quickly brought under control by firefighters. The Kos Bilaso school complex was also affected, but has since been secured in Ngong. The local council building sustained damage, and several official vehicles, including that of the divisional officer, were vandalized. The DO, along with some police officers, sustained minor injuries. The provisionally toll stands at 5 injured and 1 person dead. So far, local authorities and community leaders have called on the population to exercise restraint, promote dialogue, and respect security measures in order to gradually restore calm in the city. On his official page and in circulating videos, Issa Truma Bakare reported hearing a gun far near his residence. We'll come back to that in a subsequent editions of Newscast. And we come back to Douala, where schools were deserted by the usual students and pupils, as parents wanted to secure their children being trapped from any bullets or tear gas. Let's watch in this story. This Monday, October 27, day set aside for the proclamation of the October 12 presidential elections in Cameroon. Classes did not resume in many schools across Douala. At Government High School Jos, Government High School Aqua, Douala Kumasi Technical High School, and the Balingua College and Collège du Sange, campuses remained deserted. No teachers' voices echoed through the halls, and no students were seen on the benches. Today is a special day. We didn't want to take the risk of sending children to school, just a precautionary measure. We exchanged with the school authorities and they told us clearly, we can't guarantee your children's security. Let them stay at home. They did not go because of insecurity. We are afraid, fear that they could go and get trapped by protesters or stray bullets. They stayed at home and revised their notes. Seeing the post-electoral crisis over the past 2 weeks kept us scared, so we couldn't take the risk. It's all because of insecurity. According to several parents, the decision to keep their children at home was driven by fear of potential unrest on the day of the official proclamation of the presidential election results.
They are doing their education in the house. I know that there will be a peace in Cameroon.
In a few schools, some students did not show up. However, due to their small number and for safety reasons, they were sent back home. In a city gripped by uncertainty, parents are choosing caution over routine. While classrooms remain empty and books unopened in schools, many children are reverting from home. A quiet reminder that even in moments of national importance, safety remains the top priority. And tension has gripped the Tinga neighborhoods in Yaoundé this Monday following the proclamation of the presidential results, pronouncing Biya the winner. Angry youths took to the streets to express their dissatisfaction, accusing authorities of manipulating the outcome of the vote. More in this story with our reporter, Beatrice Ngam.
Barricades here and there, blocking roads and circulation from the Fekafoot Junction down till after the National Advanced Police Corps. The youths from these dominant Muslim neighborhoods jumped to the street when Paul Biya was pronounced the winner of the presidential election. The security move almost took the form of a raid. Scenes of confrontation between groups of youths and gendarmes deployed to maintain peace and order. For as the gendarme tries to push them back with tear gas and itching water, they retaliate with stones and insults. The downpour this day meant nothing to either group as they imposed their force either way. The joint police gendarme operation led to the arrest of many. The image of Yaoundé this Monday, October 27, was one with security all over. Gendarmerie like police vehicles could be seen as strategic junctions and major areas of the capital city, Yaoundé. From the Central Post Office, Rond-Point-Lonkak, Sous-Prefecture Chinga, École de Police, just to name these. Major markets like Mokolo were also severely protected. Maintenance of peace and security measures in place by the security forces. Shops and roadside stores who opened in the morning quickly closed. Security forces maintained a strong presence in the area.
And Paul Biya has been declared as winner of the October 12 presidential election in Cameroon, giving him another 7 years as a pilot of the country. Cameroon, the gap between him and the main challenger, Issa Chiroma Bakary, is a difference of about 18% of the vote count, as proclaimed this day by the Constitutional Council. More on that with our reporter, Haisincha.
The long wait is over, 15 days after the October 12 presidential election, as the Constitutional Council proclaims the final verdict.
Est ainsi proclamé élu président de la République comme ayant obtenu la majorité des suffrages exprimés. Le candidat Biya
Paul Biya, though with a drop from 71% in 2018, is in for another 7-year term, declared winner with 53.66%, ahead of Issa Chiroma Bakary, 35.19%. From 6% in 2018, Cabral Libil has gone 3 steps behind in the 2025 presidential polls, grabbing just 3.41% of the votes. And despite backing from 2 candidates, Bello Buba Maigari ended up with just 2.45%. The lone lady on the race, Patricia Tomainon Damjoya, harvested 1.66% of the vote counts, while Joshua Osei of the SDF moves from 4% in 2018 to just 1.21% in 2025. And despite backing Bello Buba Maigari at the last minute of the electoral campaign, Atiki Seta Caxton is 7th on the classification table, scoring 0.87%. The rest, Samuel Iram Iyoji, 0.4%, Serge Espoir Matumba, 0.35%, 0.3% for Boga Jacques, Pierre Kwemo, 0.28%, and Akere Mona closing up the table with 0.22%.
And the governor of the Central region of Cameroon, head of maintenance of peace and order in that region, appeals for calm, urging the population to continue to return to their normal activities. He was speaking after the proclamation of the Paul Biya as winner of the October 12th presidential election. Let's take a listen.
And we know that people are afraid because they don't know what is going to happen. But then we have taken all the measures, security measures, the forces of law and order outside there, doing their job. And so the people should not be afraid of anything as such. They should go ahead to do their businesses because the results have been proclaimed, showing how the people worked. And now life continues. And we think that nobody is going to come around to go from store to store and say that, okay, you did not sell yesterday and we're going to give you some money. So they should be able to work, to be able to feed their families, pay their taxes, and be good citizens.
And following the official declaration of the October 12th presidential election results, President Paul Biya has expressed gratitude to Cameroonians for renewing their trust in him in a statement shared on his official platforms. He extended heartfelt condolences to the families of those who lost their lives in the wake-up of post-election violence. Paul Biya acknowledged the weight of responsibility placed upon him and called on all Cameroonians, especially the youths and women, to join efforts in building a peaceful, united and prosperous nation, Cameroon. He also commended all participants in the electoral process, describing it as a true demonstration of democracy. Meantime, other political parties like the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, PCRN, through its leader, Cabral Libi, congratulated the re-elected president and thanked his supporters for their commitment. He urged his militants to stay mobilized ahead of the upcoming legislative and municipal elections, which he described as crucial for the country's future. Meantime, the United People for Social Renovation PUS, led by Serge Espoir Matumba, strongly condemned the violence observed in some cities. Following the results, the party expressed sympathy to bereaved families, praised the professionalism of security forces, and called on citizens to prioritize peace, dialogue, and national cohesion. Meanwhile, Denis Emilien Atangana's Front of Cameroonian Democrats extended warm congratulations to the president-elect. The party reaffirmed its readiness to contribute to peaceful coexistence and national development and saluted the legitimacy of the electoral process. We'll come back to that in our subsequent editions of newscasts. And amid rising tension in parts of Cameroon, the town of Fumbot in the west region of Cameroon stood out as a beacon of unity and calm in a rare show for interfaith solidarity. Muslims and Christians gathered to lift their voices in prayers. Let's watch in the following story. In Fumbot, voices rose in prayer to the Lord in response to recent demonstrations in several towns across the country. Both Muslims and Christians came together to pray for a return to peace and calm. Peace and stability were the key messages during this interfaith gathering, which brought together traditional rulers, religious leaders, political authorities, and especially many young people.
We opted for peace before, during, and after. Before and during, we enjoyed that peace, and we laughed, People going up and down peacefully.
The initiative was warmly received by communities living in the Noon division.
I'm hating about rumors somewhere, some places. I don't want us to be in any problem. I like everybody to listen quietly because we don't need any problem. We don't need any problem.
The goal was to encourage everyone to safeguard the values of peace and preserve the nation's hard-won achievements.
Après la connaissance des défis, c'est un moyen pour nous de demander davantage.
As tensions simmers in other parts of Cameroon, the town of Humboldt is setting a strong example of unity and spiritual solidarity, reminding the nation that peace begins with collective choice to rise above division. And that report brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime News in the English language on Canal de International. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have news coming up in the French language at exactly 19:05. And I'll be back same time tomorrow, but this time around at 1 o'clock. Thanks so much for watching and good night.